Hi and welcome, my name is Mads and I have created Pokemon ever since I was 5 years old. I'm here on a quest to redraw them all. Join me to create my third stage starter evolution Pokemon. Before we start, I recommend that you watch the 2 previous episodes in this series to see how the first and second stage starter Pokemon end up, and the playlist you can find in the description. Now, let's evolve my second evolution starters. Starting with of course the grass starter, Hydonso is the only one that hasn't received a new pose. I'm already very happy with its design overall, with the exception of its tail. I always felt that it was misplaced, so I designed its new propeller more like flowers, just like I originally had in mind, and now it matches its pre-evolutions better too. In addition to this, I brightened up its colors a little bit because it was quite muddy grey, and re-rendered it to match the rest of the gang. The overall theme of all my starters is the relationship between nature and humans, or to say it differently, environmental integration. The grass starters represent the human interventions to harness nature's powers, or to say it differently, humans use nature. Hierophant starts out as a fan, evolves into Hierophant. It's a toy windmill and an ancient communication device called Bull Roarer. Then ultimately turns into Hydonso, based on propellers, windmills and wind energy, including the destructive consequences of modern windmills. Instead of being based on the dinosaur Trachodon like its pre-evolutions, Hydonso are based on Therocerosaurus. It also takes heavy inspiration from its first design that I made when I was 5. It's now a steel type instead of a flying type. I did consider changing it since the last video, but it fits the theme of humanity developing more efficient tools to harness energy, but as a result also hurting nature, hence Hydonso's aggressive nature and strong protective duty to keep the forest safe from threats. And just like its pre-evolutions, its shiny colors is a reference to its original colors from 1998. Hierophant evolved into Hydonso at level 36. Hydonso, the windmill Pokemon. Grass steel type. Ability Overgrow, hidden ability Aerialate. Habitat is the fields, forests and jungles. Dex entry. Hydonso is often called the protector of the forest. If there is strong wind facing your direction while you are in the woods, it's most likely a warning sign that you are not welcome. Hydonso is known to run incredibly fast. However, once it had started running, it has a hard time stopping. There is a saying that if its mask is over its eyes, it will go on rampage. Now that you have seen all its evolutions, what do you think about my grass starter Pokemon? Do you like its new design or do you prefer its old design? Let me know. And in the meantime, let's go to the fire starters. Just like its pre-evolutions, Soniglu is based on a fake Pokemon I made in 2001 when I was 8. It is inspired by gigantic ancient penguins such as Anthophorus and Polyetune. And in addition to penguins, it's also based on igloos and saunas. But that is not all. It seems like I haven't explained myself properly when it comes to the inspiration for my fire starters. I did a better job in the original video. Thank you for those who pointed this out. So in that case, let me explain. The fire starters theme is nature demands respect from humans. Or to say it differently, the integration between humans and nature in harmony. It starts out as a little baby penguin, unable to use its powers. Its body temperature is unpredictable, hence its mist hood. Sometimes its heads burst into flames, and other times it's covered with snow. But most of the time this creates the mist hood, inspired by the clothing of the Inuits. Then, as many of you have pointed out, it seemingly changes completely upon evolution. and seemingly the already established theme is thrown out of the window. So my idea here is that it's not abnormal for teens and young adults to question their origin, and many may even question the ways of their own culture and are curious about modern society. Pingakav has an arrogant look on the world, and it thinks it can control nature. It is able to use its eyes to protect itself from water so it can be in an environment that is normally hurtful to it. It uses nature as its own pleasure. It's literally hot-headed. Eventually, it needs to learn how to work with nature instead of controlling it. So it integrates with nature when it evolves again. This is where it becomes a part of nature and therefore is able to use its powers, but with wisdom and respect. It learns to harness its own power with the support of nature and even gives back to nature with its igloo scales, producing never melt ice. Now it has integrated with nature and it gains power beyond what it's previously thought was possible. Their fire ice typing is also a reference to the locations the penguins live in, of course cold climates, but you also find penguins in hot climates such as around the coastline of African countries. The new design of Sonigloo is more refined. Before it felt kind of sloppy and I previously was too unsure what I was going for. A good example of this is its ice bed, which is now a much stronger feature than before. It feels tankier and more strong looking, yet friendly, like a bear hug. It still has two forms, its ice form and its magma form, but I took away its magma arms. I'm not saying that they cannot do that, but I focused more on the Sona inspiration rather than a generic fire Pokemon. Pingakav evolves at level 32 into Sonigloo. Sonigloo, the Sona Pokemon, Fire Ice type, ability Blades and hidden ability Steam Engine, habitat coast, icy, snowy landscape. Dex entry. It is still unknown why Sonigloo's shell doesn't melt. Its currently known heat is recorded to be higher than 260 degrees Fahrenheit. Shards from Sonigloo's shell become never melt ice. Sonigloo is a very chill Pokemon. It covers its fins in snow or magma and uses it either to attack its opponents or help those in need. Within environments with snow and magma, its area of control might seem endless. What do you think about the fire starters? I hope that I cleared up all confusions around this line. Would you choose the fire starter as your starter Pokemon? Let me know. Do you like the new design or do you prefer the old design? And next up is the final evolution for the water starters. They are based on humans' lack of integration with nature. They're rebellious against the system, so to say. Hence their fighting type rather than dark. They're based on Yakuzas and gang members, with inspiration of comics and anime. And then later, it kind of bloomed into an homage to all the Donald Duck inspired Fakemons I made throughout my life. The pre-evolutions had a solid inspiration and, in my opinion, a good execution, but I felt that the final evolution lacked something, and was one of the reasons why I decided to remake all my starters again. Originally, my inspiration for Dokador was anti-heroes such as Batman and Duck Avenger, or Pepperinic as it's also known as, with some hints of anime splashed in there as well. The result wasn't really executed well and was just a bigger duck with a bigger pompadour, and I felt like it was in the shadows of its middle evolution, who had a very strong inspiration from JoJo, but once it evolved, it kind of disappeared. So once again I took inspiration from JoJo, primarily this pose, but I was mostly inspired by one of my favorite anime studios, Studio Trigger. Their animation style is fun and over the top. Most of my inspiration comes from the work of Kamageta Echi, who is the producer of shows like Kill la Kill and Gurren Lagann. Gamaguri Ira from Kill la Kill and Kamina from Gurren Lagann then became my model for Dokador, with the additional inspiration of Canon Pompadour, anti-heroes, Yakuza and gang members. We got ourselves a much cooler and way better designed Dokador. I also decided to let its shiny stay the same. Doname evolves into Dokador at level 32. Dokador, the Pompadour Pokemon. Water fighting type. Ability Torrent and hidden ability Anger Point. Habitat, city and lakes. Dex entry. Dokador protects its territory without mercy. Its love for its underlings is unbreakable. If another group of Dokador enters its territory, it's a battle to death. Dokador's Pompadour also works as a cannon, however, it's only used as a last resource. It is too proud not to take a fight seriously. The one with the biggest Pompadour has the highest rank among the group. What do you think about the water starters? Would you choose them to be your starter Pokemon? Let me know if you'd prefer its old design or new design more. And there we have it. Do you like the changes? I think they are so much better than before, and if you watched the original video, has your favorite changed? And if you're new here, who will you choose as a starter Pokemon? Let me know. Next up is, as I promised a few videos back, the Minecraft and mole inspired Pokemon. Look forward to them. Please subscribe because you don't want to miss the future episodes of my Fakemon region. Give me a like and check out my other social media. With that, thank you so much for watching and let's recreate them all in the next video. Mads out.